Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I'm a little bit late. I'm sorry for that, but I hope you guys have your coffee locked and loaded, ready to go. Take a good sip here because we have some interesting topics, and that is a guy that we used to hear of almost every week, every day, has usually been dominating the narrative around what is happening with the markets. Recently has not been heard anymore, and now he has been questioned and he has said something. And obviously the Bitcoin rocket is continuing to pump. We are at this point in time at 30,000 and something, and yeah, all of that right after the intro. Hey everyone, it's a patient toddler coming at you with another live stream, and in this one we are going to go over as always in the morning, over the latest news about why crypto is doing what it's doing, and let's maybe start with the housekeeping, obviously. So please do your own research, no matter how bullish you are right now. Please do your own research and don't listen only to what I am saying. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Also, I want to quickly thank each and every one who is already subscribed, and want to ask you guys to do me the favor and smash up the like button. Thanks for the like, because that's the only thing that helps the YouTube algorithm to get this stuff out here. And now I want to also thank the ones that are on my subscriber screen here, on my channel member screen, minted, so to say, with their numbers, for supporting this channel, for supporting me with a monthly donation. So thank you to all of my rare hodlers as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's just see quickly, because there is some action going on here in the chat. Energy had said before the stream started, hope not, can't stay down until next year. So I just take my coffee. Have a great day, great evening, wherever you are in the world, said Waldo. Andre Omigeko is here. Oh, I think I didn't see you in a while. GMPH, best from Frankfurt. Greetings to Frankfurt, or to Bankfurt, where also one of the big players is trying to move into crypto. Moni Lee is here. Moinsen, coffee. Yes, let's have a big sip of coffee here. Energy is also there. Good morning, Energy. And with that, let's jump right in. So, as we can see here, Jerome Powell is the one that I talked about in the intro, and Powell expects more Fed rate hikes ahead, as inflation fight has a long way to go. So we have mentioned that the days before, that yesterday he would speak and that it could affect the market. But the market is right now so out of control with all of this Bitcoin ETF stuff and BlackRock and Citadel and so on filing for an own, or not filing for, they have actually launched their own EDX crypto exchange, which is not even custodial, it's more like a DEX or so. So completely crazy. But we also should look at the longer picture, what influences the prices, and that is that Jerome Powell on Wednesday affirmed that more interest rate increases are likely ahead as inflation is well above where it should be. Inflation pressure continues to run high, and the process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go, he said. Powell said the labor market is still tight, though there are signs that the conditions are loosening. And with conditions are loosening is just a euphemism for people losing their jobs and are available for other jobs on the labor market. So that trend is now happening, part of the recession, and is actually what the Fed wants. This loosening is what the Fed wants, what central banks want in a so tight labor market. So yeah, guys, 10 people here already. Smash up the like button as hard as you can, so that we get this out to more and more people. It says here nearly all FOMC participants expect that it will be appropriate to raise interest rates somewhat further by the end of the year. So that is what they say right now. It depends on how the CPI, the core inflation value, is coming in. So we see here also, following last week's two-day FOMC meeting, officials indicated they see rate increases totaling another 0.5 percentage through the end of 2023. That would indicate 2 additional hikes, assuming quarter point moves. And that is where the market, even though we are pumping right now, because probably what could lead to more pumps is that the Fed just doesn't hike in the next months. So assuming that we are going to pump more, then this event of hiking a little bit more in the end could actually cause our long-time correction that we are expecting after this next pump. And we are going to look at the charts in a second. But first of all, I want to show, with regards to inflation, that's it. We do not have to go in depth here. We know what we have to know. Probably rate hiking is not over at all, but still a little bit to go. I want to show this here to you, and we are going to listen to this a little bit together. So Jerome Powell has been mentioning also in his testimonies crypto. Let me just get on mute here and...
So when I think about some of the dynamics that are going on in the market related to banks, non-banks, securities, not securities, one agency in particular has been very activist in this place over at the SEC, and it's kind of tangentially related to the Fed, but crypto and digital assets in the U.S. has got a market cap of around $1.1 trillion right now. It's been there for a bit. Do you acknowledge that this asset class has staying power in the U.S. economy?
It appears to have some staying power. Of course, that 1.1 trillion was, what was that, a year ago? A lot higher.
Yeah, it's had some volatility in large measure due to the lack of legal clarity, and so hopefully this committee will help that quite a lot here this summer with at least 2 bills, one on stable coins and one on market structure, and it'll be clear not just for Congress but for regulators, including Chairman Gensler, and obviously market participants, whether they're forming the ideas or investing in the ideas or participating in the activities.
So I think that was very interesting, although Powell just basically did only a couple of words in this one, but this committee man, Mr. Davidson here, is very interested in hearing an opinion on crypto, and asks if there is staying power, if Jerome Powell is seeing staying power, and Jerome Powell says it appears so. Obviously, he's taking a stance of, hey, we don't like crypto. Still has the stance, right? But right now, he also didn't say, no, this is probably going to be regulated away and no one will care about this. So he sees that there's a $1.3 trillion market cap that we had in crypto, and that is obviously a significant value. And on the other side, Mr. Davidson here also says that more regulation, more oversight is expected in the positive sense to basically to respect that people have already invested in these ideas. And he also mentioned Gensler. So I think that was a little bit of an interesting piece here, that also crypto was mentioned in these hearings. And these hearings apparently continue today as well. Now, let's quickly look here at the BlackRock pivot, because we have been covering this in the last days. So everyone who is subscribed to this channel and is here every day knows already that BlackRock has filed for a spot ETF. But I want to go into 3 points what basically the BlackRock ETF brings for Bitcoin and for the crypto market. So first of all, reputational risk for Bitcoin improves with BlackRock entering the fray, writing off BTC's merits when the world's largest asset manager is expanding. Its crypto presence becomes more challenging. I don't know if that's necessarily true that the reputational risk for Bitcoin improves, because in the end, they can only broker the asset. They cannot change the way this asset works or how this asset is for people. So in the end, I might be disagreeing a little bit for that. Second, an approval of a BlackRock ETF adds a larger buyer to the market, as the ETF will need to acquire Bitcoin in order to provide investment exposure. And that is, I think, the most important thing. That is also why we have this massive rally, because if this ETF is approved, and if retail investors, and mainly not retail investors, but institutional investors or bigger investors that are clients of BlackRock, are starting to purchase that ETF, with every share that BlackRock ETF purchased, BlackRock is forced to purchase an equivalent amount of Bitcoin in the market. So they have to hold directly the equivalent onto these shares. And 3, a successful approval outlines a framework for similar projects by large asset managers, creating the potential for repeated successful filings. While not ETF related, the announcement of Fidelity and Schwab's crypto exchange extensions and Deutsche Bank plans for crypto custodianship over additional evidence of trade files, a creeping flow into crypto. And not only a creeping flow into crypto, it's basically the pinnacle of the institutional adoption, because these are the, as I said, the brokers of those financial assets to all types of investors, be it companies, be it rich people, be it medium rich people, be it normal, like middle class people, and so on. The average retail investor. If these ETFs are approved, the floodgates will open for all of these investors. And then many people that are only dealing with ETFs and stocks will be way more comfortable in buying an ETF than the asset itself. I just recently talked to one of my friends who is only in ETFs and dividend strategy and so on. And he was saying, hey, I know I should have gone into Bitcoin, but I just didn't, because I were too lazy to research it and to understand it. And this whole technology thing isn't clear to me. And by the way, he said, if I would buy it, a small portion, I'm still, I don't want to put it on a hardware wallet and have key and seed phrase and so on. So we have to acknowledge as crypto people that these people are out there that just don't want to do that. And everyone is also with the ledger improvement, so to say, that many people saw as a big risk of storing the seed phrase in 3 different clouds, basically, for these end users, so that they don't have to worry about it all the time. We have to acknowledge that there are people just out there that want this stuff as easy as possible, because they don't want to undergo all of these things, which is also why, for example, if you look at Veve, a KYC is not for everyone. Some people just don't want to do KYC because it's too much effort for them to get into. They want easy clicks. It's, if you're building a website with a store or something like that, if you insert too many clicks, you will not have sales, because people get bored after 3 clicks and go away. So overall, that means that people want to have, by these institutions, the stuff catered to them. And if they have the downside, so be it. But they are going to be the ones that are going to bring billions upon billions into the market. And we have another one of these filings just now because Valkyrie joins the rush with Bitcoin spot ETF application to go with its futures miners ETFs. The cryptocurrency fund manager is at least the fourth to seek a Bitcoin spot ETF listing in the last week. So, cryptocurrency fund manager Valkyrie is applying for Bitcoin spot ETF. We have seen already that before. Cathie Woods ARK Invest has filed for a Bitcoin spot ETF. That is everyone sees BlackRock right now, and they are looking at BlackRock and thinking, if BlackRock does this with the track record that we have covered here, 575 to 1, they are like, okay, if BlackRock does this now, there's a very, very big chance of this being approved, so everyone gets their filings already in place. Next one. This was big because yesterday, no, actually not yesterday, it's already a couple of days ago, but I didn't see it and I didn't cover it. It's from the 16th. There was a massive move of Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, worth 261 million US dollars at the time, have been transferred from an unknown wallet to another unknown wallet. What does that mean? Only that big holders are making moves. I don't know if this guy brought from that other wallet in pieces to an exchange, or if that was an OTC deal. But we see whales abruptly move over $500 million in Bitcoin amid BTC bounce. Here is where the crypto is going. So here is this also mentioned, this tweet. But in overall, we see transactions to the tune of 20,000 BC worth over 526 million US dollars moving into BTC. And I wanted to point this out because we have actually shown exactly this headline here on the channel. Remember when we showed the Vox headline, Vox.com headline, and we said here on this channel that this is probably the signal for a turnaround when they are saying, when part of the media, mainstream media, is saying now might be a good time to consider quitting crypto. That was around when Gensler came out with the, let's say, the bearish news on June 8th. So that is not too long ago. They put out this headline and said it would be good to get out. And we all know that when this happens, then it's time to get in some more positions, right? And we said that around here we had a little bit of trickle down. Everyone forgot about this, or maybe some people have thought that it's really time to go out, and then this massive pump back to the upside. And then also I found this was really funny. Sideliners right now. Everyone who didn't do anything. Maybe this happens to me in Ekkomi one day, but we'll see. Also, let's quickly look at the markets. A little bit mixed for today. Still, Pepe is overall green, obviously, and many altcoins are in the green. Bitcoin still 4.5% up, and on the week, massive greens. For the weekly, Pepe and Stacks, biggest leaders here in the pumps at the moment. It's still apparently meme coin season, but the coins that have not been in here, they will come around. And yeah, I think also Ekkomi is now green. Here we have it. We are a couple of percent up on the week. OMI is 2.9% up on the day. Actually, can you see it? No, you can't. Obviously, it's on the position behind me. There we go. So OMI is here, down below, 2.9% up, actually behaving like the other coins in the top 200 at the moment, which is a good thing, right? And then on the hour, everything is a little bit red, but that doesn't really matter. Now, let's look at the charts, and I can move back here now. So we are still running pretty good with our cup and handle pattern here, and it was expected that we would run into some resistance here. We get the second rejection on top here. Some people, actually, you remember that I have put out, I think only yesterday on the break in the live stream, the measured move for the breakout. So there it is, right? Let's put this right. Okay. So I think we're pretty good in determining these targets right now, or at least this one worked out. So that is the measured move for this flag. We have hit it. That is also where now traders are taking profits and where we have some longer wicks on the upside. So now obviously we are running into that resistance, and we should need or we should be analyzing this a little bit, because if we see where this goes, so first of all, that is the very big noisy area, and actually this is a resistance zone, I would say, which ranges somewhere in here. So you could, some people on YouTube, they draw in this resistance zone. I would just treat it more like this line, because this was the previous massive support confluence, right, that we had before. So everywhere here we had big support, and then it flipped and became resistance. We see this here. So this is basically the zone with the most confluence that we have so far. So there's so much confluence that this is, if this is broken, so this all, basically you could say this is the entire zone, right? So right now we need to just break above this. And if that happens, because you have seen the measured move of the flag, let's just recap again, and let's just be generous and take the biggest outbreak possible, and just say that we break this in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Then we would be coming up to $60,000 Bitcoin. We would just double in within I don't know how many days this will take, but we would have a move like this. Obviously, you could be a little bit more cautious and draw this not from the absolutely lowest wick, but I like to dream big, so let's just take it as it is. And we will leave these lines obviously on. You guys know that. We have our Bitcoin, marked our Bitcoin top here. I don't know why this is a little bit off, but there is the Bitcoin top for, what is that? Actually, it's because it didn't load here the months, but it's basically 2025 Bitcoin top, where we should expect the cycle top. And yeah, let's look how this this chart works out, because as of now it works out pretty good. Obviously it didn't curve out beautifully, but it doesn't matter for a cup and handle pattern. Now the big question is, when will we break out, or will we come down a little bit to test again? Like, will we have some moves around this area to test again, and then finally break above and retest or something? That I think also will determine a little, or will depend a little bit on today's speech, or it's today's hearing of Jerome Powell that we have. If we look at this here down below, we have here a marker that says that there is Fed Chair Powell testimony, and then also the durable goods month over month is coming a couple of days later. But I think Powell is really what matters here right now. So yeah, I expect this to break within the next, I don't know, maybe in the beginning of July, end of month somewhere. And then also, let's look at the DXY, because we have talked about DXY yesterday. We have said that we hope it could just collapses from here, because this green rally up, this little rally up would indicate some correction, but actually it didn't happen. What happened is that we got completely wrecked here on the DXY, which is a good thing. So on this chart, we want to have that. And yeah, so like this. Right now, it's, as you can see, it was not refreshed. Right now, it is a little bit green, which is why Bitcoin is stalling out. But overall, the trend is down. And that is a good thing. Obviously, when Powell is talking more hawkish, we might see a little bit more green, a little bit more Bitcoin stalling out, but obviously our inverse correlation, and in the macro, our inverse correlation is still in place, right? So even if we would come up here, something like this, but I really hope that something happens and we drop like a rock so we can pump past this resistance line and turn it into support again for Bitcoin. We are going to continue to observe this each and every morning. You guys are here for the daily updates. So you have seen BlackRock, Fidelity is filing, Valkyrie is filing. For all, it's the time, it's the season of Bitcoin spot ETFs. And guys, the pump is only because of the filings. Because imagine what happens when the BlackRock ETF gets approved. This can take a while. This can take a couple of weeks. This can happen within a certain... There is a limit. I don't know what the limit is, but the SEC and the regulators in general, they need to respond to this within a certain period for the filings. But it can take a while. But when it is approved, it's rally time. And then we are going to rally big time. We are going to rally hard. And after that, we are going to probably stall out. But this is the time to look at altcoins. And when we rally hard, or when we have some other red days, to stack up and build your bags. This is the time now to build your bags for the next bull run. And if you're living in Germany, it's even more time to build your bags right now, because you have a 1 year holding period before where you would have to pay taxes on the crypto gains. So the non-financial, that is non-financial advice. What's the non-financial advice here? I cannot tell you what to purchase, honestly. But obviously there are a lot of altcoins out there, and especially the ones that got hammered by being labeled a security by the SEC, but only labeled, like only named securities. These altcoins have even more upside potential. So overall, I think, in my opinion, and I follow this rule, I think you should have 50% of your portfolio in BTC, just for stability reasons. Also, if I say, for example, this is my strategy, right? Only my strategy. So I'm going to share my strategy instead of giving a non-financial advice. So no advice here, but my strategy. I have, at the moment, it's 48 point something percent, because some of the altcoins rallied a bit in Bitcoin, right? So I want to have that at around 50% when we are going into the halving. So the moment that my Bitcoin goes beyond 50%, I am going to increase alt positions again. Why? Because even if this is a low risk approach, even if all altcoins would die, but Bitcoin doubles, I would be fine, right, with that portfolio. But if the 50% of the altcoins are going to rally extremely hard, I can take profits, and then in the next cycle, I trickle them into Bitcoin again. So, and Moni says she's on 70% BTC. Probably you already had the 50% stacked up in the bottom phase. And then BTC rallied, gained dominance over your portfolio. And now you're at 70%. So you can look in my strategy. If I had 70% BTC over the entire portfolio, I would look at altcoins that are down bad, like really, really bad. So what I'm looking at is obviously more Ekkomi. a little bit more. I don't want to have this heavy exposure in Ekkomi as others have. I would look at more Vechain, because Vechain actually has been hammered in the last days and months. I would look at Phantom. Phantom is down really, really bad and has a lot of upside potential. Also Cardano, Polygon, Chainlink, just as some bigger plays, doesn't have to be the biggest exposure. Yeah, and yes, I mean also like Ecomi. True. I'm looking at Ecomi, and actually let's pull up Ecomi because we haven't looked at it. So Ecomi is green today. Ecomi has been green yesterday. That is good to see. Very unusual for Ecomi that when Bitcoin pumps, Ecomi being also green, because usually Ecomi was bleeding before when Bitcoin pumped. But at the moment, or at this point in time, it seems to be, let me refresh this a little bit, because actually some of my lines are missing. Yeah, there we go. So we had this bear flag. Still, even though we are green right now, so first of all, the stochastic RSI is already implying upcoming momentum shift, although that's only one indicator, but also there is no volume here. So for Ekkomi, I'm just observing, and obviously, as always, as I was observing here and here and here, there is always the risk that I observed one day that the reversal, right? But even then, if we come above this point, I can still load up another million or so and only pay 200 euros extra. So right now I am just eyeing this because we could have ourselves here something like a mountain range where we plunge lower on Ekkomi, because I think Ekkomi will not withstand a massive rally in Bitcoin. So right now we have rallied a little bit. Yes, it was like 10-15%, but like a really Bitcoin spot ETF approval, I think traders will take profits and funds out of Ekkomi to ride that one. If it's, I believe, right? This is just where I am cautious. Like with all of these, you have to remember, we have seen it so many times, and yes, one day it will be the last time. But we have seen so many green days where we had extensive rallies to the upside like this. So many times we have seen it, and now we are here, right? So why should this time be different if we do not have utility yet? So this has the potential to get people excited and then just come back down, and that's what I'm speculating on. I could be wrong though, and if I am wrong, I will be called out on that, and I don't care, because it's part of strategy to just see what happens and look at indicators. And I will ultimately not base this on only charts. I base this on coming utility, and I see absolutely the upside, because if there's nothing implemented for Ekkomi, then there's still a lot of potential for Ekkomi to go like crazy. Like Ekkomi can go crazy because of the missing exchanges, because of the missing utility. So everything that can come for Ekkomi is yet to come. The only thing that should not happen is that the Ekkomi team misses the next bull run. But I think with the hiring right now, we are still in the scope of having everything, like having news for Ekkomi towards the end of the year, right? So maybe they're coming out with more articles, people get bullish and so on, but I think towards the end of the year they should be coming out with some bigger news, and then we could have our first turnarounds in Ekkomi. And that's a little bit what I'm looking for, because in the end it is like I'd rather wait for lower prices and risk having to buy in the end somewhere here or up here, than buying in here right now with my funds and then missing a chance to buy on lower prices. So that is my stance at the moment. I have I have been buying 2 million Ekkomi tokens over the time. I am down on them pretty significantly on those 2 million, but on the other hand, it's only 2 million. So I could, at these prices, easily double my position, and I could easily double my position and lower my buy-in average so much that I'd probably be in at 0.001 or so with the average. So that is also something to keep in mind. Energy says, I think the only thing, nothing happened with Omi is the bear market. The team is waiting. Yeah, maybe they are. It's absolutely right. Maybe they are stalling just to launch all of their stuff into better momentum. That could be happening. And also for the team, there is a priority, right? And this priority is that you want to build out Veve, which is the backbone of Ekkomi. Let me just quickly see, because I didn't. So yesterday there was just nothing for Veve. Let me just see if we have any news from Veve, because Veve is very, very silent, suspiciously silent. Obviously, we should have had the Hulk Comic drop that was postponed because of the non-implementation of waitlist. I don't know why they didn't test waitlist with the previous comic drop and just implement that. I don't know why they're not just fully rolling out waitlist for every type of drop. Caro is asking if he's too late again, and yes, you are pretty late in the stream, but still not in the end. So actually, as I will show this to you, but actually basically Veve is just engagement farming, but doesn't have any news here. So basically, and this is weird because we had this Hulk comic drop, and for sure there are like 20 other comics lined up, so they could have just put out whatever other comic drop for now, but they didn't. And by the way, this looks pretty good here from Mr. Falcon. So Veve has no other drop announcement. It also didn't do much except of retweeting. So something is looming. I think we might get a bigger drop announcement in the next days, hopefully today. I think the drop was scheduled for today. Thursday is comic time, so we don't have that drop today. So we have a little bit of a gap, which is also a good thing, because then people can focus on what's on the secondary market. People like to spend money on secondary market. And guys, by the way, all of you who have joined a little bit later now, please smash up the like button for me here. I always forget to ask for this, but in the YouTube game you have to ask for it like every 5 minutes usually to get the necessary likes that the algorithm is recommending you on page 10 or so. Yeah, so that would be great if you could do this. So unfortunately, there is nothing big to speculate and to comment on. Gorillionaire here with the comic and Secret Rare comic. So yeah, this is also something that I'm looking at right now, how the market behaves in Veve. I still want to purchase 1 or 2 other Secret Rare comics to set myself up for the bull run in Veve. I really want to be in some more Secret Rare comics there. Some of them are very scarce and pretty cheap, and maybe we can look at this for another second. You see that with regards to Veve we don't have so much, but I think it's time to look at our options, because also the end of the month is obviously coming. End of month means people get money from their jobs. So let's look at Veve set list here a second. Energy said it, hard to keep going in Veve and buying crypto at the same time. Yeah, to be honest, on green days where altcoins and Bitcoin are up between 10 and 50%, depending on what coin, you can focus on Veve where nothing has gone up. That is, I wouldn't buy crypto right now just because it has pumped so hard. I think there will be ultimately a correction, but we could see. Okay, so here we have scarcity. With regards to scarcity, the comics, I like to look at scarcity. So there's, for example, this Marvel Spotlight, 125 editions, only 50 gems. Tales of Suspense, 45, also. That is a little bit more expensive. This Vision and Scarlet Witch is relatively cheap, but also not a valuable comic, so be careful with that as well. I think of all of these secret rares, I have the, I don't know where the Banshee, with which one of these is the Banshee comic, but it's one of the 125ers here. I think it's sitting around 100. Yeah, I think it's this one. That one is actually the Banshee is pretty valuable on Go Collect, so 2,000 something US dollars for the comic. And if it comes back down, if it would come back down to 100 gems, I would buy a second one of those secret rares. Other than that, I look at all of these here, except the Tarzan one. I don't care about this one. And it's weird because look at this, for example. The Amazing Spider-Man 252 at the time was launched with an extremely high scarcity, extremely low scarcity, unknown to the market. And it's still sitting at $1,200 with 175 editions. Now, if we are only, because Amazing Spider-Man 252 is what, the first appearance of the black suit or something, but nothing too special, right? And all of these are more scarce. They are secret. They give more MCP points, but they are sitting, all of them, with this logic, should be sitting way higher if we consider this, right? But this one has, this one was a recent drop, so this one has come from 0%. That's why it pumped 1,000% basically. But overall, what we see in these is that, and also look at this. This is the ultra rare to the 252 Spider-Man. It's sitting at $2,500 US dollars, and the secret rare is sitting at 100,000 because there are only 40 of them. So obviously that is another level of scarcity there, but I think here there are some opportunities in this, right? And even up here, even here we have the 188 and so on. There are a couple of them are so low, you can get super scarce secret rares for 50, 60 gems. So I like to look at this from look here, 188, Captain America 34, 44 gems. I'm not saying that these are valuable, but just from a scarcity perspective, there was a time on the app where these skateboards dropped, where skateboards with 250 editions were going for 10,000 gems or so. So hey Kid Arcade, what's going on? Guys, you have to check out Kid Arcade's channel as well on YouTube. Everyone that is still doing active content in the fam now needs every support. So first of all, smash the like button on my channel, and then also subscribe to Kid Arcade's channel. But yeah, I really like to look at scarcity. If we just get rid of all of the rarities and just look at secret rare level, and then we are looking at price, we even see that, for example, here you also have this burn thing. So 38 of 600 are burned on this alpha flight. So it's still, I mean, it's not super scarce, but you will find down the list, for example, you 250, Miles Morales Spider-Man 10, 250 editions, 41 gems. I might actually be getting that. So I think there are some undervalued pieces in here overall. Yeah, Kid Arcade says, like the video, everybody. Let's go. So I think there are some undervalued pieces also here. Captain America 34 for only 44 gems. So I might be going on a little shopping tour here very, very soon. That said, nothing guarantees that this is coming back in value, so don't throw everything into this. But I mean, what's the chance of something like this? 41 gems going 10x. The chance is pretty high that these go for 400 in a bull run or beyond, with such a low scarcity or in the long run, right? So now you obviously have to make the comparison. Is there any opportunity for me to make more than a 10x in the bull run? Or is it a diversification option for me to go into these? And I believe there is an argument to having just both, because you never know what is going to happen with these comics, and especially the scarcer ones. So if you would say, for example, in the market that someone wants to have a full collection of all secret rares, right? Or I don't know, so like a super rich person. Obviously, that person purchases the one with the 40 gems for a lot of money, but then the next ones on these lists that get really, really scarce are the ones with 125, 188 scarcity and so on. So there will be a lot of collectors that are eyeing to get the scarcer ones. And as we can see here, for example, the Marvel Zombies 3 actually has 28 of them burned. Also Star Wars here, 142 are burned. So there is some scarcity here, 108 burned, 195 burned of these. There's some scarcity that many people are not aware of, because the burn is not labeled enough for everyone to be burned. So overall, Veve set list is the way to go with regards to such research, in my opinion. You also can look at, hey, if I just go for all scarcities, right? Actually, can I mark all scarcities here? Yeah, now I have them all, and I go for dollar to MCP. You will get other results, right? You will see that the rares, like the Tarzan rare, for example, for $5 is giving you $2.5 per MCP point. So if you are stacking for MCP, you can do that, but keep in mind that at the moment you get better MCP points by purchasing some of the stamps, actually. So all of these marked here, Holiday Elves, New Zealand stamps, Lunar New Year, Rabbit, Presidential Series, and so on, all of these give a better dollar to MCP point ratio as rare comics at the moment. And also here, there could be an option to just look at, hey, what is scarce, what's giving good MCP points, and so on, what has been burned, for example. So overall, obviously, if we were to look at comics, there is a better scarcity ratio, but you also pay a little bit more for the MCP points that you are getting. So yeah, overall, I think that's something to consider, right? So and then also with the sets, you will see that also sets, there is one set, and that is the Soul Stone, that is actually also giving you 2.5 points on the dollar, for $2.5 per MCP point. That's what I wanted to say. So yeah, that is also here. There are a lot of one-of-one sets that are pretty cheap. So the Soulstone set you can complete for $5. This stamp set $7, $9. So there are a couple of you can do for 40 gems. You can get 4 sets if you don't have them yet. So yeah, it is. There are some of these things that are to consider. For example, I don't have the bat signal yet, but it has pumped a little bit, 5%. But if I see, for example, here, so I have this mascot. I have this. I don't have this. I think I don't have this poster yet. For 950, I could get it. I have this war effort and I have the soulstone. So I could, but I could still go in here and get, for example, this poster set. Although for the dollar to MCP points, I'd rather get some rare comics, right? Because they are better. But yeah, anyways. So if you don't have the soulstone yet, might be a good time to get it. With regards to this. Yeah, so, but as you see, for example, here with the comics, so obviously the Tarzan comics, you really have to consider if you like them and if you see upside potential also. But if you look at the normal Star Wars and Marvel stuff, you see that, for example, also here in the very low MCP point dollar ratio, and it's only 1,000 editions, there's an ultra rare of Tarzan also. So you really have to see that, right? You really have to see if you like Tarzan. But other than that, there are a lot of these with only... So, for example, the Thrawn has only 1,000 editions and is available for $6.39, giving you good MCP points and is scarce. Relatively scarce for a rare. But guys, that's it for today. That is how I look at some things. And I'm not the big Veve whale, right? I'm not the big... I have like... what is it? I always forget how many collectibles and comics I have. I have participated in the last drop, so it increased a little bit. I'm about to hit Master Collector level of, let me see that. So I have 134 collectibles and 358 comics, and I still have to 12.5 thousand points to go to level 40. But there you go. There you see it, right? So yeah, that's my Master Collector points right now. Why are you not the big Veve whale? Yeah, because then if I was, then I couldn't be in other investments, and also everyone has their journey, right? And this is mine. I'm sharing it with you on YouTube. And so yeah, I'm not that big of a Veve whale, but I'm looking to make more moves to become at least someone with a pretty decent secret rare stack. But with that said, guys, that's it for today. I have to head out to work. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you watch this later what you think about all of accumulating for MCP points and stuff. Oh, energy will hit level 80 in 2 days. That's pretty big. So yeah, I hope you are as bullish as I am on the whole crypto Bitcoin thing. We are still green. We are going to observe it. So guys, I see you tomorrow in my crypto morning coffee stream. I see you tomorrow in the morning. I will probably upload a little bit of a perspective on Ekkomi as a video later. So stay tuned for that. Tick the little bell to get notified about this. And yeah, fam, see you tomorrow in the Crypto Morning Coffee live stream. So wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you in the next video upload.